So have you ever poured just, hours, resources, and genuine passion into making a website look absolutely flawless?
Oh, yeah.
The perfect fonts, beautiful images, every shadow is in exactly the right place. And then you launch it and you realize it's getting zero sales.
Crickets.
It's probably the most frustrating experience in online business, and I think it happens every single day.
It absolutely does. And the source material we've gathered today, it really pinpoints why this happens. There are two critical failure modes. The first one is kind of obvious.
Right.
You have a site that might work, but it just looks ancient. It looks untrustworthy, so people click away immediately.
And the second one, that's the one that hurts more. It's the site that looks stunning, like a custom-built luxury supercar. It's polished, beautifully styled.
But there's no engine.
Exactly. You turn the key, nothing's inside. The design is incredible, but the words, the actual message, it's just not there.
And that's where we want to step in today. Our mission is to give you a clear, actionable path to fix this. We're going to cut through all that confusion using a simple three-part process that our sources call the DDD system.
DDD.
Design, data, and deploy. And today we're going to focus really intensely on just the first two. Design the look and data the message. And specifically, how you can use AI tools to get both done fast.
Before we jump into the structure, I think we have to establish the main goal here.
Yeah.
We need to know the difference between a pretty site and a selling site.
Yes.
Because a truly great website, it has to have two non-negotiable elements: trust and real selling power.
The design is sort of the initial handshake. It builds that trust. It signals professionalism. But a smart design, it understands customer psychology.
It's not just about looking expensive.
Not at all. It's about crafting an experience that's so seamless, so relevant, that the user has this aha moment. They look at the screen and they think, oh, this is exactly what I need. They get my problem. And you have to do that, according to our sources, in under 3 seconds.
Wow, 3 seconds. I think that's a perfect way to frame the challenge. And it leads us right to what the sources call the unicorn goal. Because most people, they live at one of two extremes.
Precisely. On one side, you have what they call the tractor site.
The tractor.
Yeah, this site is just functionally ugly. It's messy. Maybe the colors clash. The fonts are hard to read. But, and this is a big but, the person who built it understands their customers so well that the content is laser focused and it actually converts.
So it works, but it looks terrible and barely builds any trust.
Right. And then you have the Ferrari site. Built by an expensive agency, the look is flawless, the animations are smooth.
But the words are just vague corporate fluff.
Exactly. Visitors look at it and they leave thinking, wait, what am I supposed to do here? Who is this even for? The gorgeous design is completely wasted.
So the unicorn is the goal, the thing we're all aiming for. It's got the beautiful look of the Ferrari, but the raw power of the tractor.
And this DDD system, it's the blueprint for building that unicorn, for combining that beauty with ruthless effectiveness.
Okay, let's unpack that structure. The DDD blueprint. It starts with design, then data, and then deploy.
Right.
So the design stage, which we're covering first, that's all about the look and feel.
Yeah.
Your colors, fonts, layout, all, with the goal of creating that baseline trust.
And that professional wrapper, it holds the data stage. That's the soul of the site, the message, the research, the persuasion. That's what actually drives the conversion. The deploy stage, which we can save for another deep dive, that's all the technical stuff. Hosting, speed, SEO.
But you can't start any of that until you have the structure locked down. You never design without a skeleton. And our sources identify 4 essential bones that create the only logical flow for a selling page.
Okay, so the first bone is the hero section.
The top of the page.
Right. Everything you see without scrolling, its only job is instant communication. It must have a headline, a big single title, and a primary call to action button, the CTA.
And this, right here, is where most people fail. The headline. It has to clearly state the single biggest benefit the customer gets. The challenge is you have to boil down your entire business into one powerful, jargon-free sentence.
Don't tell me what your product is.
Tell me what it does for me.
Exactly. If your headline is confusing, you've already failed that 3-second test. But once you hook them with that benefit, you move to the second bone, the value propositions.
These are usually in 3 columns. And they detail the specific reasons you're the best choice. This is where you talk to the skeptic.
Right. Think specific, tangible promises. Guaranteed delivery in 24 hours, or 50% cheaper than the competition, or you get unlimited one-on-one support, things like that.
Then the third bone, which is absolutely mandatory for trust, is social proof.
Because if you're the only one saying you're great.
People's internal BS detector just goes off. You have to show real proof. Concise reviews from customers, key numbers like 5,000 happy clients, or logos of partners you've worked with.
It's a trust accelerator. It pushes them toward that final step.
Yeah. Which is the final bone, the closing and form. You remind them one last time of that core promise right from the hero section, and then give them a simple sign-up box.
And the key here is simple. Keep it simple. Minimize the friction. If you start asking for their name, address, company size, their favorite color,
You're just killing your conversion rate. Stick to the absolute minimum. Name an email, maybe a phone number. That's it.
Okay, so a question here. We're talking about these 4 kind of text-heavy bones: hero, value, proof, closing. But a lot of modern sites, they lean on these huge, beautiful video headers and complex graphics. Are the sources saying that this traditional logical 4-bone structure is still the most effective way to build trust quickly?
That's a great challenge. The sources argue that while video builds engagement, text structure builds trust and clarity. Video is amazing for brand, but a landing page has to be crystal clear about the value exchange.
So it's about answering the user's questions in the right order.
Exactly. What is it? What's in it for me? Can I trust you? And how do I get it?
You too.
Pure information hierarchy, and it just works.
That makes sense. It's the foundation. But okay, you have this skeleton. How do you make it look good? Like a Ferrari. Where do you even find inspiration without just copying a template you saw somewhere?
Staring at a blank screen is paralyzing.
Totally.
So the sources suggest you stop that problem by just studying the best in the world. They recommend starting at 3 places. First, allwords.com.
Ah, yes. The cutting edge.
It's where you see global web design. Sometimes it's a little impractical, but it's always inspiring. Second is dribble.com, which is fantastic for modern UI styles, especially little things like button animations.
And third, they suggest a tool like canva.com, not to build the site, but just to quickly test out color palettes and fonts before you commit to anything in code.
And the practical step to lock this all down is what they call the mood board method. You don't just browse, you actively curate. You save things.
So if you see a button that feels really trustworthy, you save a screenshot of it.
Or a color scheme. Maybe a calming navy blue and a sharp white. Save that too. You put all these little pieces into one folder, and it keeps your design language consistent. It stops you from building a Frankenstein website.
Okay, this brings us to the pivotal second stage, data. If the design is the car's body, the data is the engine. It's what actually drives the conversion.
Because like we said, if the words are dull, people will leave, no matter how great the pictures are.
So how do we find the content that actually sells? We have to stop guessing what customers want and start mining customer pains. We're looking for emotional gold.
Where do you find that gold?
Well, there are tools like buzzabout.ai that can scrape forums for you, but honestly, you can just go straight to the source. Facebook groups, Amazon reviews, Reddit. You're looking for the real emotional language customers use when they complain.
Give us an example. How does a raw complaint turn into great copy?
Okay, let's say you're selling air purifiers. A feature-focused team might talk about high-efficiency filtration, but if you go mine the customer pain, you find people saying, "I hate this machine. It's so loud, my baby can't sleep." That specific worry, the noise waking up the baby, that's the gold. Now that becomes the focus of your website. You turn that negative into your positive solution.
And that transition is the core marketing principle here. The sources call it the Maui rule.
The Maui rule. I love that.
You sell the result, not the features.
This is completely non-negotiable for high conversion. People do not buy a product with 3 layers of a HEPA filter. That's a feature. It's emotionally dry.
What they buy is the result. They buy feeling safe because their baby breathes clean air and sleeps soundly through the night. They're buying a feeling.
The analogy is perfect. You sell the Maui vacation, not the flight. The flight is the feature. It gets you there, but it's not the fun part. The beautiful, relaxing island is the result. That's what everyone actually wants.
So your landing page has to sell the island.
I'd only briefly mention the safe, fast flight.
Okay, let's apply that directly to the air purifier. A boring, feature-based headline would be something like, "Buy our 3-layer HEPA filter unit."
Right. But the Maui rule headline, focusing on the result, becomes, "Sleep soundly, knowing your baby breathes mountain air tonight."
That's emotional, it's outcome-focused, and it hits that pain point we found. That's the difference right there.
That is the conversion difference.
And connecting that powerful content with the professional design we talked about, that's where AI can change the whole process from days into, well, minutes. You don't even need to know how to code anymore.
We're going to recommend specific tools here based on their strengths. For the design, the actual HTML and CSS code, we recommend using Gemini.
Why Gemini?
It's exceptionally good at keeping the code structure clean, but you
Yeah.
have to be very descriptive. You can't just type, make me a website. That's where people fail.
You have to give it a persona. You have to tell it exactly what you mapped out. So we should share the effective prompt template for you.
Yeah, the key template goes something like this. I want you to be a professional web designer. You start with a role. Then write the clean HTML and CSS code for a landing page for a pet carrot home service.
And you tell it to follow the four-bone structure.
Exactly. You say it should have a hero section with the title, Your Pet Deserves Love, a value props section with 3 columns. You even tell it the colors from your mood board. Use light yellow and wood brown colors. The Book Now button must be bright orange and have rounded corners.
That level of detail is just critical. It brings in the structure, the audience, the design language, everything.
And it's not a one-shot deal. The first output might be a little basic, so you talk to the AI like it's your junior designer. You iterate.
So you can see something like, make the space between the value proposition sections wider, or can you add a hover effect? When I move my mouse over the button, make it get 10% bigger.
Or even change the font on the whole page to Montserrat for a more modern feel. After just a handful of those little tweaks, you have clean code without writing any of it yourself.
Okay, then we pivot to the content, turning those raw customer pains into emotional copy. For that, you're recommending Claude AI.
Right. Specifically using its deep think or high reasoning modes.
And why Claude for the copy?
Claude is just excellent at natural language and keeping a consistent tone. When you prompt it in that deep think mode, it seems to perform this multi-step reasoning. It's like it mentally tests the copy against the customer's fears before it gives you the final text.
So it sounds more human, more empathetic.
Exactly. Not so clinical.
And the prompt for that, using our air purifier example, would be something like this. I'm selling air purifiers to new families. Their biggest fear is the baby coughing and the machine being too loud. Write 3 short paragraphs for my landing page.
And you structure it. Paragraph 1, focus on the fear of dirty air. Paragraph 2, introduce the quiet solution. Paragraph 3, promise the ultimate result, good sleep for the baby, peace of mind for the parent.
And you'd add, use friendly, simple, and reassuring language.
Notice how that prompt forces Claude to focus on the emotional journey. Fear, solution, result. That's just implementing the Maui rule at AI speed.
All right, as we get into the final optimizations, we have to talk about mobile. It's not optional. Our sources say 80% of people view sites on their phone now.
So if you forget mobile, you're just throwing away money. Intentionally.
When you're optimizing for that small screen, what are the 2 most important things?
First, the vertical style. You have to use it. Tell the AI to stack those 3 benefit columns on top of each other, not side by side. Otherwise, they become unreadable on a phone.
And second, the buttons. The call to action button needs to be big. Think thumb friendly. On a desktop, a button can be small and sleek. On mobile, it needs to be big enough for a thumb to tap easily without getting frustrated.
And let's talk about speed. Loading speed is the silent conversion killer. If your site takes more than 3 seconds to open, the abandonment rate just skyrockets.
Yeah. So what's the simple fix there?
Use WebP images. Tell your AI or your developer, I only want WebP.
And why WebP specifically?
It uses much more advanced compression. It gives you photo quality at a fraction of the file size of an old JPEG or PNG. It's a direct solution to that 3-second abandonment problem.
Okay, one final quick optimization, and it ties back to the design stage. Color psychology, but with a little more nuance than just blue means trust.
Right. The key isn't just knowing what the colors mean, it's understanding the fit. So blue is universally for stability and trust. Great for finance, health.
Orange and red are for urgency, action, so food, sales, that kind of thing.
And black and gold are for luxury and high value. But the deeper insight is about misalignment. If you're selling food delivery with a cold, deep blue palette, you're making the food feel, I don't know, clinical, distant.
You're destroying the emotional connection to hunger and comfort.
Exactly. When you build your mood board, you have to consciously pick a color that matches the feeling you're selling, not just the product itself.
So we built our unicorn. It's got the professional design, emotional copy. It's structured right. It's mobile optimized. What's the final test? How do we know if we've actually succeeded?
The sources give the simplest test imaginable, the 5-second test. You send your site link to 3 friends who know nothing about your product, and you ask them one question.
Just one.
What does this site sell? And that's it.
And if they can answer clearly and correctly in under 5 seconds, you've won.
You've won. Your hero section, your core message, it's working. If they hesitate or they ask questions or they start describing the features instead of the result, you need to go back and simplify your headline. It means your Maui rule has failed.
That's a powerful feedback loop.
Yeah.
Okay, so to synthesize everything we've covered,
Yeah.
you need that unicorn mindset, beautiful design, plus copy that converts.
You have to build on the logical foundation of the four-bone structure hero, value props, social proof, and closing.
You find your content by digging into customer research to find those emotional pain points.
And finally, you use the specialized strengths of AI Gemini for the code with very descriptive prompts, and Claude for turning that pain into emotional copy.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Well, your next step isn't just listening. It's facing the hardest truth in marketing. Can you summarize your entire value proposition, your Maui rule result, into one single, powerful sentence?
If you can't, nothing else really matters.
Right. No amount of beautiful AI code or perfect design will save you. I'd say go to Gemini right now, take that specific prompt we shared, and just start the process. You'll be absolutely shocked by the professional foundation you can build in 30 minutes. And that is the necessary foundation for the final stage, which is deploy.